She's on there.
As she announces us in.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Jackie. Are we live? Yeah, we are. I know we are. I think I muted Jackie. She had a little bit of background noise. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, John.
John is here.
Very good. I see Pete and Christine. There's John Malloy. There's Teresa, Clement, Daniel. Welcome, Roger, Tom. Look at all these happy people. My friend Sarah's here. Hi, Sarah,
Yes,
you feeling
I'm
good?
here. I'm
So
feeling good
to see
today.
you. Always a pleasure.
Thank
There's
you.
Davina. There's Esther. And
John.
Ida and Kathy and John Hyder. Carl, welcome. And Tolu is here as well. We're going to go ahead and get started. Hi, Gail. And let's get this show on the road. Mute all of our mics so we can hear ourselves think. And welcome. It is the 13th. Hope you all had a happy Easter and Passover. And let me mute all again. Let's try that again. Okay, we are at full capacity. We are now at full capacity every single day minutes before we even go live. I'm glad you guys are here. Of course, if you're joining us on the YouTube live stream, feel free to comment in the chat roll that's over there as well. I especially want to welcome our most brand new of all brand news. Marty's here, Vanessa, who I just met, Judy, Ernestine, so glad you're here. Sam is here, Shirley, Edward, Kathy, and Esther. Glad to meet you all. Yes, we've got another Esther in the room here today. So welcome to the community. For those of you who are brand new, like those people I just mentioned, this is where we get together each day, Monday through Friday, Eastern US time, 12 noon, 5 p.m. GMT. We're going to go ahead and mute those mics again so we're all nice and clean. And where we just get to talk about topics that are on our minds. And I get to offer you reminders based on what's coming out of my mind, which is usually based on the books that we're reading. In fact, I just had an interesting experience. I just talked to my new friend Ness over there in England, and she had downloaded all 5 of the book recommendations. Now, some of you who are not so new here, you may go back a few weeks to when we first met, right? There were 5 book recommendations. And you got those, right? Kindle or paper, if you like paper. I'm kind of done buying paper books, but there's Kindle, there's Audible, right? Where you can listen and everything. And she had listened to 4 out of the 5 books in like 3 days. So she's just on like a book consumption marathon. Now, of course, I suggest, let's go through, the written word. Let's get the full conceptual understanding. Let's apply what we learn. Okay. But I think the idea of just saturation, not so much cramming, because cramming has other connotations to it, but the idea of saturating our mind with right thinking, that's what I want to talk with you about today, is so vitally important. For some of you, this is just going to be a reminder, okay? Some of you, this is going to be like a new concept, because perhaps up to this point, you've just been doing, well, let me say this, you've just been thinking what everybody else thinks that you should think, what everybody else tells you to think. Okay. Now this affects your Amazon business tremendously. In fact, I just had a conversation. One of the gentlemen who I just met, who I actually see on screen right now, Edward, asked a question about how will Amazon and our Amazon businesses fare in a inflationary or recession or depression type economy. Where does that question come from? I would venture that it wasn't just something that, that was just spontaneously, entered his brain from the ethers because he hadn't been putting his attention on anything else. No. And I think a lot of people may have that question. So I'm going to go ahead and lean on that question a little bit. But the quality of our questions reveal the chronic level of thinking and expectation in our minds. And the way to counter that, I'm going to give you sort of the punchline right out of the gate here. The way to counter that, the way to be deliberate about that is to flood our minds, yes, to saturate our minds with ideas that are pleasing to us. We can actually get into we can go biblical with this, guys. This is not like a new truth that I just invented or something, but how many times have we been told, anyone who's been around personal development for any period of time, how many times have you been told to focus on what you want? Think of it like this. You're in a race car, okay? And race car drivers know how to do this. And you start to lose traction. So you're in a turn and you start to lose traction, and the wall is getting closer. It's instinctful. It's instinctful because here's an input called the wall, right? That's coming closer to you. It's instinctful to fix your attention on the wall, right? Because it's getting closer to you. It is an obstacle. It is a threat. It is a threat. Okay. In the world of like defensive, like police and military and civilian defense and stuff like this, which I've done a lot. Some of you know I'm also a part-time weapons instructor. Okay. But in that world, right, people get fixated on the target. It's called target fixation. Not what you want to do. You don't want to look at the threat. You don't want to look at the wall. You want to look at where you want to go. So now back to the race car driver, which is also life and death. Okay. So the race car driver must train themselves to look at where they want to go, the pleasing outcome, the track, not the wall. This is terribly counterintuitive because here comes the threat. Here it comes. Look at me, right? So now in a more subjective sense, right, here is the world of mass media, social media, every other kind of media impinging on your attention, telling you the sky is falling. And I know we've gotten into an argument about this on this broadcast maybe a month ago. Okay, so no arguments, please, today. But there is an agenda there. People don't publish without an agenda, and you can follow the money. And I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole. Okay, but there's definitely some agenda happening to help people be afraid. Yes, be afraid, and yes, rely on not on yourself, not on common sense. Don't rely on that. Rely on us. And rely on the authorities, okay? Because these authorities know stuff you don't know. In fact, you can't know. So now what? That's a very victimizing sort of position to be in. I can't have an effect. I mean, I want to have success in my life, health, happiness, the pursuit of, right? That's cool and valid. But here's this, Armageddon type situation, you see, which times of uncertainty. How many times have you guys heard the terms in this time of uncertainty? That's like a cliche now. My goodness, I can't go 15 seconds without hearing somebody talk about how uncertain they are about their future. Now, if we refer back to one of the greatest personal development books ever written, in my humble opinion, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. He said that different people engaged in the same business obviously can have different results. They can even be doing the same activities. They can even be in the same town. Why do they have different results? Well, that's a great question. Thanks for asking. He said, well, the one who gets rich does things in a certain way. And in order to do things in a certain way, you've got to think in a certain way. Any of you ever read this? Tremendous book written in 1910. What is this certain way? What is this certain way? It's the exact opposite. The exact opposite of what most people chronically and unknowingly allow themselves to fall into, which is uncertainty. In these uncertain times, we're so damn uncertain. Guess what you get to be when you're uncertain? You get to be uncertain. You get to be ineffective. You get to be the one that doesn't get rich in the same exact business as the one who does get rich, who does things in the certain way, not the uncertain way. Look at the words. Certain. So what can you do to augment your certainty? I'm here to tell you that you can flood your mind with right thinking. And yes, audiobooks, as Ness gave me that example this morning, she pushed 4 audiobooks into her brain like in 3 days, which is extreme, but okay. I don't think anybody could accuse, Sophie or myself of being, reasonable. That's not what we signed up here to be, is reasonable. Reason has its limitations, right? And look, if we know that, oh my goodness, I've been allowing myself to be the effect of what everybody else is telling me to think. The purpose of the herd is to keep me in the herd. Well, let me look for myself. In fact, let me ask, since my best thinking only got me this far, but not further, let me see what somebody else's best thinking is. You know what? Sell me that book that you spent 20 years writing. Here's $10. Give me some wisdom, please. Right. And then we start to open up our scope, our perception, and we start to see other realities, which are just as real, which is this train's moving forward. I got 2 boxes from Amazon yesterday, and neither of them were for toilet paper or essential items. I got a mahogany picture frame, and I got some new bungee cords for my motorcycle luggage kit, right? Because bungee cords wear out, right? How essential is that? Well, if you ask a biker, that's pretty essential. But you ask somebody else, who's concerned about, the future of mankind right now, it's pretty inessential. So since I told you I'd get biblical, let me quote this. Where's my good report? I don't want to paraphrase. I want to give this to you verbatim. This is Philippians 4:8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. So that was 2,000 years ago. So again, this isn't like some new truth or something. Okay. And by the way, that wasn't original back then either. The caveman who bemoaned, how they're constantly, getting chased around by saber-toothed cats and eventually got eaten, had a completely different result than the caveman who said, you know what, we got some rocks over here and we got some other skills that we can think of that the cat can't think of. And that next thing you know, man wins, right? So what are we focusing on? That's what I want you to consider today, is what are you focusing on? Because this is the new beginning, right? We're just wrapping up this whole Easter Passover season. This is a time of rebirth for you, if you say it is, right? I mean, that's, you got to determine that. I can't give you that. I can't force that upon you. I'm trying to sell you that. Yes, I'm trying to sell you my idea right now that you are so capable. You are not a victim. Oh my goodness. And e-commerce is exploding all around you. Your timing is spectacular. Okay. Now, product choices. I know a lot of concern about product choices. Well, guess what? Right now, I would tell you that as much as you may think that mahogany picture frames and bungee cords are not going to be a hot item, they were in my life. We got 7 billion people on the planet. Oh, by the way, I'll let you guys know, I ordered another one of my black polo shirts. Yes, my what do you call it? The rack, my wardrobe is expanding. I have yet another black polo shirt that's about to enter the fold, and it's really beautiful. And it's exactly the same color and exactly the same size as the one that you guys get to see me wear every other day. Actually, right now I've got a different one. It's got a little bit of blue in it. I know some of you guys are brand new here. You're wondering. They were thinking like, this is my uniform. No, it's just it's how do I avoid decision fatigue? Right? Decision fatigue. How many friggin' decisions do I have to make first thing in the morning? Like, what kind of shirt am I going to wear? Black polo, done, not open for debate, done. And sometimes you get to see me after I'm running around the gym, I'm wearing a Harley Davidson t-shirt or something. But the idea here is that you can decide right now where you're going with this meaning with your life. Okay. And a vehicle is your Amazon business, which right now for the vast majority of you is in the fledgling stages. Okay. But the more time you spending your attention units, and you only got so many per day, right? Here's your bucket of attention. You're going to spend it somehow. The more time you allow those units to be spent by these very seductive messages of you can't, you're a victim, life is a problem, the world's going to hell, right? The more time you spend on that, the less time you spend on thinking of things of good report, right? The less effective you get to be. And it's exactly by design. Terribly seductive. A lot of agreement too. A lot of agreement. You get to be social. You get to talk to people about how hard everything is and why we're all victims. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Very, very social. And we're social creatures, right? But I would suggest that since you're here listening to this conversation and you've got so many new friends here for our newbies, welcome. You've got so many new friends here that you'll be meeting over the next couple of weeks as you get grooved in and in this community. You've got an alternative to the chronic, incessant victim society, which is screaming for your attention. We're going to get stuff done, guys. We're going to get stuff done, because if not us, then who, right? Amazon just hired on another 100,000 people just for the United States, 100,000 employees, right? And they're not the only ones. I work with other companies that are, their stats are up, way up, way up. One of my businesses stats are 10x what they were 2 months ago. No, I'm sorry, 14x. I just reviewed the stats again. 14x. Total madness. Sign me up, damn it, right? Or we could just sit around and bitch and complain. We could do your choice, right? I would suggest flooding your mind with right thinking, deciding who you are in this marketplace, and then being that, and raising your standards a little bit. And I know we've talked about this before. Sophie listed, 140 products her first year? 140. And I know, because I was in the conversation just before we went live, there's talk of, once I get my first product, right? Yeah, certainly overcome the inertia, get off of zero. Zero sucks. Zero is the worst number in business. You know what the second worst number is? 1. That's a terrible number. Okay. So yeah, get to 1 and then get off of 1 as quickly as you can. Raise your standards. Is every single offering going to be a huge, hit? No, but it's the same likelihood that every single offering is going to be a total flop, right? I mean, the likelihood of 100% hits is the same likelihood of 100%, failures. Neither one's a reality, right? And the fact that you're actually educating yourself, well, guess what? We got an unfair advantage here. We're going to have more hits than we're going to have losers, right? And it's not like we're throwing $10 million at this, like, multi-billion-dollar companies do at the Super Bowl for ads that don't even work. Entertaining, but don't even work, right? I remember, this is a bit of a tangent, and I'll shut up after this. I remember people being surveyed. This was, 20-something years ago. And they were asked about this commercial that they saw. It has this bunny, this little pink rabbit banging on a drum. And they're like, what was the brand name of the batteries they were selling? 60% of people got it wrong. Duracell?
Energizer.
Yeah, Energizer. You got it. Well, because we've seen it 10,000 times since then, right? Okay, but that's a market test, right? And most people can't name, which battery brand the bunny is selling. How much money did they spend on that friggin' bunny? Millions and millions and millions of dollars. Okay, and eventually it stuck. Okay, but you get the point. We're not in that position where we're just going to throw millions of dollars at experiments, which probably won't work. We're actually educating ourselves. Thank you. That is called predisposition for success, right? We're not just throwing money in the wind, or this isn't chance, right? Calculated risks. Yeah, sign me up for that. That's good stuff. Anyway, you guys are more than able. Just keep reminding yourself that you are, okay, and that you're not a victim. And that's what I've got for you today. I think a great way to start the week, right after Easter and Passover. In fact, I don't know if Passover is still going. I don't have the Jewish calendar in front of me. So happy Easter and happy Passover to all who celebrate. I'm done talking. If you'd like to unmute your microphone, please feel free to do so. We've got, we're at full capacity. In fact, while you guys are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and check our YouTube channel. Gail, you've got the floor. Hey, Gail.
Hi. I just unmuted. That's all. I didn't want to say anything yet.
Well, typically that command means I'm about to talk. So let's light this microphone up. Okay, very good. Welcome, Gail. All right. So
I'm always learning.
Very good, Gail. Very good. You got it. You got it all handled. Carol Ann's got the floor. Hey, Carol Ann.
Just listening right now.
Okay, Carol Ann. Very good. Who else is unmuted who wants to talk? Come on.
I'll go, John.
Yes, come on out there, Mark.
Just a couple things that, again, you were mentioning this morning. It harkened me back to some earlier days when we were learning to do stalls in an airplane. It was about recognition. It's and it's a really it's kind of nerve-wracking when you first do this and you are falling. Literally, you're attached to this big hunk of metal and you're falling out of the sky. And the idea is that kind of what we're doing here. You're leading us through. Sophie's leading us through, and we have to learn the processes. We have to gain recognition of what we are, a new way of approaching business. I've never done e-commerce, and it's uncomfortable. It's and a lot of it is absolutely necessary in order for us to recover, to learn how to recover, or learn how to move ahead. So and I remember doing those, and you come out at the end, and your comment, you have this reaction. The ground is coming up at you, and it's coming up at you fast, and your reaction is to pull back on the yoke because you want to get away from the ground. But what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to push forward, because you're supposed to increase the wind, the relative wind speed across the wing to create lift, so that you can gain more control and more, and then be able to pull out. So it's in direct contravention to the way you think. So you have to adjust the way you think. So, and I sit here in front of 99 other people, and these mornings for me have sort of become an energy jolt. I see that as a way. I don't see it as competition. I see, like this morning, Leanne and Heather, and Pete, they're all talking about these different, how they're approaching things and the steps they're going through. Every time I hear these things, this is one little thing like, oh yeah, I need to work on that, or I need to do this, or so I'm seeing it as a way to help my learning and just move ahead. And as Amanda said last week, I have to work at my own pace. I'm not looking at it as, oh my gosh, this person is doing this and I'm doing. No, it's good for motivation. It's good to help moving forward, but I don't look at it as a competition or something that I have to try to outdo or outperform the other person. I see it as just and I have to move at my pace. So like you say, I'm not cramming. I'm just trying to put things together and learn and absorb.
Well said, Mark. Thank you. And there's a big difference between the competitive mindset and the creative mindset, which Mark just alluded to, right? So the competitive mind thinks, well, there's only so much pie, and if you get more, I get less, and right. Okay, so there's that. The creative mind says, well, let's go make some pie. How much pie do you want? I'm going to go get a lot of pie right now. I'm going to make some, right? So beautiful distinctions. Thank you, Mark. Pete and Christine, you've got the floor. Pete and Christine.
Hi, John. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Question that popped up earlier before we actually went live was from Amazon US. We've done our limited company now. We're trying to set up a UK business bank account, and one of the questions on there was how do you get paid from your customers? And it said that the Starling Bank, which is in the UK, said that we'll only accept payments in sterling, pound sterling, or euros. But I believe that someone said the question earlier, the answer to the question was from Amazon.com, Amazon US, we will get paid in US dollars. So obviously I've got to look for another bank that will accept US dollars. Few people mentioned Barclays, NatWest, etc., which UK high street banks. So is that right, John? We get paid in US dollars, do we, from Amazon?
Yeah, well, it's an American company, but at the same time, you've got people doing business with Amazon all over the world. So if somebody has a specific answer for that, just from your own experience, I'm in the United States, so I say, yeah, everything in US dollars. I don't care if you're selling to Japan, US dollars, this bank account, thank you, done, right? So that's how I roll. Does somebody else know more?
You can get an intermediary that's based in the US that will basically take the money and do a flip for you and send it to you in your currency. I read about one company in something that I was listening to last week, and I took a note of it. I'd have to look through my notes, Pete, but I could find out that company. And I don't know if there is a fee. I'll have to look at that, because I'm sort of in the same boat. I'm in Canada, so I would get paid in US funds as well. And bringing US funds across the border is always a tricky thing. So it's easier to have it flipped to your currency. So when it lands in my bank account, it's Canadian currency, not US. Then, because the bank will charge you a lot more to flip it than these guys will.
Thanks, Heather. Thank you.
Hey, John, if I can, to answer your question, I'm from the US, living in the UK, and we use TransferWise, which is the intermediary that she's talking about. And it can do multiple currencies. So if you had decided to sell in different countries, it does exactly that. So we use that all the time. And the fee is, again, much less than a bank. So, and there's a bunch of these, but TransferWise is getting a lot of market share right now. So it's somebody that we trust, and I've transferred big amounts of money.
And that is the company that I have sort of set up an account with. So when I eventually have to do that process, that's the company. Thank you very much for recognizing that. And all you have to do is go to their site and set up an account for yourself. And you only pay for it when you use it.
Yeah, it's easy peasy. I use it all the time.
That's great to know. Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Griselle.
Very good.
Pete,
Easy
But with
peasy,
my own
says-
with my
says
own
everybody.
experience, with my own
Easy peasy.
experience,
Okay, Tolu's talking. Go ahead, Tolu.
with my own experience, because at the moment I work for a US company as a virtual assistant working from home, and they do pay me by dollars, but I have a Barclays Bank account, which is a business account. They just pay it there. Barclays Bank does not charge me any difference. They just pay it in pounds into my account. I'm based in UK, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Tolu.
So
What
you
was the
can
name
call
of that,
Barclays Bank.
Tolu?
It's Barclays Bank. The name of the company in America is Arise.com. So I work for them as a virtual assistant here in UK, and they pay in dollars, and they just pay it into my business account.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Pete,
Yes.
I've got something for Pete.
Okay, go
Pete,
ahead.
Sophie uses Payoneer or World
Yeah,
First.
you can use that
And
too,
she
yeah.
uses that to change USD into New Zealand dollars or whatever. So she uses those two companies to transfer her funds from the USA to her bank account.
What was the name of that company you say?
Payoneer.
It's going
and
to be of
World
limited
First.
use, just so you know, that one's going to be of limited use. So
Pete
somebody,
and
I already heard
Christine.
Payoneer. Somebody was just saying they can't even use that in their jurisdiction. Who was that? Somebody just commented on that. So Payoneer is kind of like a third-party e-wallet where it receives money and then you get the credit card and you can go spend the money. There's some other ones like Solid Trust Pay is another one and all that. I'd much rather personally see you guys keep it really clean. And so just so you know, Payoneer has its uses. Okay.
I have a couple of clients who use Payoneer, and I have struggled with it for the last couple of years. I get to do all the dirty work, I guess, because I'm like Tolu. I'm a virtual assistant for a few clients, and they use that, and I would not recommend it. It wouldn't be my first choice.
The same thing too. I've used it before. I won't recommend it for anybody in UK.
No.
I have the card. They have a card like a debit card or credit card. I won't
Yeah.
advise you to use it.
I think I'd like something that goes to my bank account as opposed to onto a card.
Right.
So,
Keep in
but
mind also,
TransferWise,
Can I say
look into it.
something?
It's definitely
you
a good
can say
option.
something, just a moment. Keep in mind also, Amazon's working on blockchain technology. So I think everything we talk about here, including solutions that are valid today, may not be valid several months from now. Okay, so just so you know, there's lots happening in the world of cryptocurrency, et cetera. We're going to go to John Malloy real quick, and then I think Dee Dee's had her hand up for a while. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, John, I'm still recovering from the coronavirus. I've got a lot of a high fever and I'm in bed, but I just wanted to show you that you know, I really am into this. It's just that health at the moment, because this virus it's just horrible. I've zero physical energy and I've hardly any mental activity.
Well, we're glad you're here, John, and we want you to recover. And frankly, I didn't know that you were here in the group, but I see that you are, and you take care of yourself over there. Okay, I know you've had multiple issues leading up to now this issue, and we're glad you're here. You just sit back, relax, and listen. You get some rest. Okay.
Just wanted to say to Pete and Christine, Barclays Bank have a promotion on at the moment. So you wouldn't be charged the fee. I think it's £170. It's free for the first year. And also, I can't think here, HSBC Bank have been very supportive of me, you know, during this really, really difficult period. And the last thing I wanted to say was Amazon, a pop-up came for the Platinum credit card, and I got one. And for all balance transfers over the first 3 months, it's 0%. And so that's what I've done. So you're not getting charged any interest for the first 3 months. It's 0%. I am not going to say anything else, but John, I wanted to attend a full hour with you, and I will just listen to the other people.
John, so glad you're here. You sit back and relax. Thank you, sir. And thank you for your insights on those banking solutions. All right. Dee Dee, did you want to talk, Dee Dee, or you're just playing with buttons, trying to get your hand up and all that? Dee Dee. Dee Dee?
Yeah, there. I'm sorry. I forgot to unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes. You're live, Dee Dee. You've got the floor. Go ahead. We can hear Dee Dee. Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry about that. I wasn't sure if I had you on my ear or live, so I was trying to figure that out. John, thank you so much, John Malloy, for first of all for showing up. You really are inspirational. You know, sometimes I think we find it hard to show up, but to see you show up in the state that, you know, having, you know, COVID and still showing up is pretty amazing. So that kind of motivates me today even more. So thank you so much for being a part of this group. And John, I just wanted to kind of say, hey, hi. It's the first time I'm showing my face, and you know, as I mentioned before, I've had issues. I just have never really been big with social media, but know that I have to get out of my comfort zone, and so I've kind of been changing the dialogue in my head, just like you spoke about. You know, it's like I got done watching a few days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, the Jetstream 6, the Law of Attraction. And so I've been kind of changing my thinking and saying, you know, the opposite of what I'm thinking, and really kind of taking that in and believing it. And it's interesting because I've been applying it to a few things, and it's really made all the difference. And it, you know, those things that I have, you know, acted as if I have become in just the you know, the last 3 days, which is pretty phenomenal. And, you know, funny thing is that I've kind of known that in the past, but have forgotten. And this has just been such a great reminder to put those things back into practice. And yeah, I'm new here. So hello, everybody. Thank you for all your input. I'm just, you know, I just want to be a sponge right now and just kind of take in everything. And I'm doing the best that I can to stay on course. And I'm really excited about it. So I'm going for it. But I thought I'd come in today and introduce myself and show my face. So John, thank you so much for your encouragement on that the last time we spoke.
Thank you, Dee Dee. So glad you're here. This is great. This is great. Hey, Jesse, did you want to come out here and address the group? I just got to look at that background. That is some background you got there.
That's my artwork.
Whoa, there's that.
Yeah.
Look at that, everybody.
I do a lot of detailed artwork on my in my non-busy hours, which isn't very often.
Good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. Did you have a comment today?
I just wanted to wish everybody the best right now. Everybody stay safe. I feel very, very fortunate to live where I do. I'm out in the middle of the country in middle America, and we avoided tornadoes, and I feel very fortunate. And every day at 3 o'clock, we have a prayer group that just prays for the people that are dealing with the coronavirus, those that have lost people, those that are dealing with it. So John, it was John, right? Mm-hmm. My prayers will include you today. So everybody stay well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So good to see you, Jesse, and very aesthetic background. I love aesthetics. Good times. All right, Roger, you got an open mic.
No, I didn't have anything specific to ask. I've just been spending a few days looking at products, and I'm still kind of confused with it all. But yeah, hopefully get there. I just wondered if anybody else has had as many issues looking at products as I have.
Yeah, that's the topic of discussion. That's what the whole course is about, right? So keep on trucking, Roger. You're going to get it, and apply what you learn, right, as you go. Do the product research. Dig into Helium-10. Go through their trainings as well. They've got lots of things you can learn on that. Some people prefer Jungle Scout, which would be another good research tool to use.
I've got I'm not sure why I got it. I think it was on the old training. I've got something called Amazon Scout, which I've taken to more than Helium-10. I've only used Helium-10 for a couple of hours.
Okay, so Jungle Scout. Okay. So yeah, good stuff. You're going to get it.
That's all.
Very good. Well, glad you're here, my friend. Glad you're here. We're going to get this done. I see Sandra has got an open mic. Sandra?
Hi, is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you. I was going back to what you were previously saying about, having a mindset in the right place and having the right attitude. And obviously I've come from a dark side where I keep losing my jobs, I have no finances, etc., etc. But now I believe that this time of where we are in the world today, COVID-19, has given us a time to reflect on where we are and where we want to be, and really appreciate that we do have the life that we have. And you talked about this dream board before, and at the beginning of this year, I really did set my mind on having this dream of where I wanted to go in life. And taking on Sophie's Blue Sky was one of the first things I thought, because I thought about Blue Sky for months and months ago, and finally got on there. Let me just show you quickly my dream board. It's slightly it's got a really weird background at the moment, so ignore the background. But can you actually see some pictures on there? My two daughters, and the house is where I want to go, and all these kind of things. I am a millionaire and I have one, I count myself. Did you see that?
Yes.
I kind of count myself very lucky. And right now, regardless of what's going on around the world, I think we still have to be positive in life and have that energy about waking up and feeling great about ourselves and not feeling down about what's, all the deaths and everything, praise God that everybody will get better eventually. And my deepest condolences are out for those who have lost loved ones. But in our own personal lives, I think we do have to keep our own self motivated and our own self encouraged by better days after this COVID-19 is finally over. And I think for all of us, for a new Amazon business, I really look forward to it. I am so positive and so on it. And I'm not worried about whatever products we have. It's like you said previously, it's not a race. It's just time that we need in order to do so, and finding just the one product that will eventually spiral us out to the atmosphere that we want to go to. That's really all I wanted to say, and good luck to everybody who are looking for their first products as well.
Thank you. So glad you're here. Appreciate you sharing. And it looks like some really cool, are you into deer? Like deer is your thing?
Yeah, well, yeah, I do. It's not a real one, it's a fake one.
Well, quite obviously.
But I'm into art, and I do love traveling. And
yeah, I see the other picture behind you. It looks like two deer kind of like in a
those are rabbits. Those are rabbits.
Oh, rabbits. Okay.
Those are rabbits.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. It's kind of.
But I did some sketch drawings I can show you.
Very nice.
Of myself. That's me.
Those are pronghorn rabbits, John.
Pronghorn rabbit. Oh, jackalopes. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, that's those ones at the top there. But antelopes.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, my friends. We're coming into the stretch here. Kim, you've got your hand up. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. I'm all new to this, so am I on? Can you hear me?
You're on. You're live.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, I just wanted to introduce myself and say hello to everyone. I'm excited to be part of the Amazon Blue Sky, and I'm really excited to move forward. A couple of things, and I do have a question. I wanted to respond to what Mark had said earlier about, I guess, the analogy that he had spoken about regarding the taking off and the wind speed. That really spoke to me. I guess what I grasped from that was, I think about, you're in the throttle position, and you're just waiting to get that to take off. And so I guess I feel like that's kind of where I am right now. I'm in the throttling process, and and I want to take off, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet. And so just in the learning process and trying to absorb all this and get to that point where I'm ready to say, okay, I'm ready to launch, you know. So I just wanted to say that and thank you for sharing that because that really spoke to me. And then I guess the question that I had was, I heard people mention the Helium-10 and Jungle Scout, and then I know that Sophie also mentioned Merchant Words. So do we need all three of those products to do our product research?
No.
Can anyone answer that for me?
Yeah, the group has spoken on that several times, and the consensus
Okay.
is if you had one, let it be Helium-10. If you had a second
Okay.
one, let it be Jungle Scout. Merchant
Okay,
Word
perfect.
has fallen out of favor to a large degree. So
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
you are welcome. Kim Brown, ladies and gentlemen. There she is. All right, burning desires before we wrap up for the day.
Yeah,
Anything
there
you
is
got to
one
share?
thing
Yes,
I
come on out.
Okay. Am I on?
Hi, Michelle. Yes, you're on. All I could see is a tiny little picture still.
Yeah,
showing
I
you.
know,
Yes,
I
go
know.
ahead.
I'm in my PJs, sorry.
Oh, please. We want to see the whole experience here.
Oh, yeah, I bet you do.
Right.
I just wanted to say something around mindset. And when Marcia and I were getting into this already after COVID started, and Marcia's a high-risk person. He's a kidney transplant recipient. I gave him a kidney a year and a half ago. Now, a thing about this is 20 years ago, when he first got diagnosed with this genetic disorder with his kidneys, I turned to him and I said, well, when you need a kidney, I'll give you a kidney. And he laughed and he mansplained it to me how that was never going to happen because that kind of compatibility was extremely rare. And I said, okay, but just so you know, I'm going to give you a kidney. A year and a half ago, I gave him a kidney. And I knew for 20 years that I was going to give him a kidney. So when we got into this business, this Blue Sky Amazon, and taking this on as a new business for us, I got it without a doubt that we would not only be successful at this, but this was the right business for these new times, not uncertain times, different times. And that's all. Just wanted to share that.
There you go. Michelle, well said. Thank you. So glad you're here. Tomorrow, be sure to give us the whole treat, right? Everything, you know.
Yeah, I'll put on some clothes tomorrow morning. So I'll get up in time.
I'm just messing with you. So good to hear you, Michelle. Thank you for those perspectives. Anybody else before we wrap up for the day? Last call. Right. Very good, my friends.
Yeah.
Well, yes, go ahead, Sarah. Was that Sarah?
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you, John. You're awesome. And I just wanted to let you know I appreciate you.
Oh, Sarah, I appreciate you as well. Always a pleasure to see you here.
Thank
Hey,
you.
John.
John, can I
Yes.
ask you a question for all
Quick,
of us?
I just wanted to, I know I just spoke, but just wanted to say something before we left.
I'll
Usually
ask you my
at the beginning, we chat about stuff, and usually when you give a talk and there's a bunch of stuff running through our heads, is there any way to be able to stay on like 10 minutes after? Maybe we could try and bounce stuff off each other or anything like that? Because I know as soon as this ends, it all comes off, or is that not a possibility? That way
Well,
we can also.
I reset the room so that we can all get to work and like get on with it.
Okay.
So that's fine. If you want today, I'll do an experiment and I won't reset the room. I'll just exit and turn off the live stream. So if you want to try that,
Yeah,
it
I
sounds
mean,
to
I
me.
don't know if anybody else is thinking the same
Oh,
thing.
we'll
but I was
find
just-
out. We'll find
Okay.
out. Let's do that today. Thank you, Dee Dee.
All right,
Donna,
thanks.
you
I have
got
a question.
Donna? Yes, Donna.
Yeah, John, I need your help with something. Is it in life skills and all, when we start to do all this stuff and listen to, The Secret and Earl Nightingale, and we believe in ourselves more, do you find it common that people in your life might be, what's the word, almost resistant to your change? And how do you keep yourself motivated? If someone were to say to you, like, why would someone want to listen to you anyway? Or why would someone want to buy from you? And how do you not listen to those people you love so much that want you to stay the same? but you really want to change?
It's a great question. Great topic for tomorrow. Actually, a great topic for when you and I are meeting later today, Donna.
Yeah, I need help with that.
Okay, we're going to work on that. No problem. No problem with that. So, all right, good stuff, guys. We got to wrap up. I got another meeting coming right up here. Any other burning desires, like you just got to talk, or you're going to like?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
My question is that actually I'm a newbie to this business. I've not done it before, just like some people here. But before you came on live, there was this discussion that was going on about business registration with the government, like LLC. You know, so my question is it really mandatory that you must have an LLC to do Amazon business?
Is it mandatory? Well, in the United States, that's just a pass-through corporation. You could set that up in whatever state you're in. If you're not in the United States, you're definitely not getting an LLC.
I'm in the United States.
Okay, so then, yeah, you're good to go, Daniel. You could do that with your Secretary of State. You could also use a third-party service like Prime Corporate Services is one of them. How long have you been hanging out with us here, Daniel? How long have you been here?
I'm just new.
Right.
This is my first time having this meeting with you.
You will definitely get a call from Prime Corporate Services, and they will discuss some options with you. They do all that stuff for a fee, of course. That's their business. They help people set up their entities and paperwork and all this. Or you can do it on your own. What state are you in?
I'm in Texas.
Texas. Oh, you got a very, very business-friendly state. We got a lot of Texans on here as well. So you know what? We do need to wrap up because I have to run to another meeting. But we're going to, I'll leave this room open. And if we got any Texans on here that want to advise Daniel, you certainly can. But again, Prime Corporate Services is a very popular third-party provider, okay, for those sorts of things. You definitely want that set up, though, before you start selling on Amazon. All right?
All right.
Very good. Guys, I
Thank
do
you.
have to run. Thank you again, Daniel. Thank you for everyone who
Thank
participated
you.
today. What I'm going to do is we're going to end this live stream. Hi again to our friends on YouTube. And I'm going to end the recording as well. And I will see you back here tomorrow. You guys make it a great day.
You
Bye
too.
for now.
Thanks, Donna. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.